The following is a short clip from our conversation with Elyce, the co-founder of multi-billion-dollar fashion brand Kate Spade. Kate Spade is a multi-billion-dollar fashion brand that revolutionized the affordable luxury market in the early 2000s. After selling Kate Spade, Elyce started yet another highly successful fashion brand called Frances Valentine. In our conversation, Elyce shared the key principles and secrets behind her success in building incredible fashion brands. I hope that these insights are valuable in your understanding and approach to starting and growing fashion brands.
Easier way to put this question would be when you analyze the success of Kate Spade, which obviously it's a historical success,
Mhm.
and the success that you've had now, obviously the scale of success is differed. What are the variables that are consistent in both success stories?
Hmm, that's a good question. I think it's great product, really well designed, well crafted, but at an accessible luxury price point. And it was something for both companies when we've launched both of them, that those things were very important, that they had a distinct point of view and they were different from anything else on the market, that they were made of the best quality items, but that they were affordable for people who aspired to have luxury pieces and wanted to pay less. So
Interesting.
there was, Katie and I were out shopping after we sold the first business, and we went to Bergdorf Goodman, and I was ready to, spend some money and buy a new pair of shoes, and so I found the most adorable pair of orange patent leather shoes, and I was like, oh, I'm getting these. For sure I'm getting these, but they were $1,200, and I could afford to buy the $1,200 shoes, but I didn't want to spend $1,200 on this pair of shoes. And we knew at that point how to design and have those type of shoes made, and they could be $500. They don't need to cost that much. And so, I think that is a common thread through both businesses that we started. And it's the thing that keeps our customers coming back to us over and over again. There's a real differentiation in our product that's very different from anything else out there. And it's what we hear from our customers over and over again. I also think that having a team that is gracious, and of course they have to be good at their jobs, but a team who's polite and nice and friendly to everyone with whom you do business is really important, because you want not only your customers to be happy with dealing with you, but also all the people all your vendors, the people who you're buying materials from, and your factories, and the wholesale people. And, I think all of those things really matter, because we spend so much time at work, and it's our life. And it's, to me, one of the most important things about the business is the culture of the business.
Interesting. So value proposition and team slash culture.
Yes.
Okay. And I'll focus a little bit more on the value proposition kind of like conversation, because I think that comes even before the financial question. You need to get the value proposition right, because before you even worry about finances, because finances, if you don't get that right, are non-existent, right? Unless you're just burning money and capital. But that said, what do you think do you think that the nature of value propositions, is it consistent? So do you think that, in your case, affordable luxury, do you think that is there's always a window of opportunity for the same value propositions in different specific niches and customer segments? Or do you think value proposition is just very relative to the timing? What have you learned about the nature of of successful value propositions in fashion?
I think there are people who really care about it. And I think once they find a brand that they really like, in particular, um, women over the age of 40 are very loyal customers, because they've shopped their whole lives. They know what they like. And a lot of them just don't have time to go out and find new brands that to try new things. And they're extremely loyal, because if, for instance, if I go out and find a great pair of pants, I'm going to go back to that brand over and over again, because the design's right, the quality's great, and the price point's right for me. So I think there is, a segment of customers who are really become loyal as long as your product remains consistent in all those areas.
Mm. And when you analyze consistency in product, especially nowadays, what do you think is more? I mean, they're all important, right? Quality, design, price, but obviously the importance probably fluctuates a little bit over time. So how would you prioritize it? Because when you're early on, right, you have very limited resources. You don't know what to prioritize on, and developing good product is incredibly difficult. So where do you think the market's at? Do you think focusing on, okay, how do I get a good enough product but with incredible profit margins relative to quality? What's your can you take us through just your overall mindset on good product development?
Yeah, well, they're all important. So we have to check every box because if, for instance, we have this beautiful cashmere sweater that's recycled cashmere. It's gorgeous. I love it. It's so pretty. But the sweater is going to end up to be $1,200 and it's not really within our price matrix. So we didn't end up making it. I'd love to because it's recycled, which is really important to a lot of people. But it doesn't really fit in our price matrix. So, we obviously can't do that. But as far as quality goes, things have to have quality and they have to have a point of view. And the product itself has to be differentiated. And if they don't check all three of those boxes, they don't go in the collection in the end. I mean, we sample a lot of different things. And I would say probably 40% of what we sample actually makes it into the collection because of one reason or another. We probably oversample a lot. But for us, there's not one that's more important than the other. They all three are really important to our brand and our
Hmm.
products.
Okay. And what's your overall thought on developing collections versus developing really, really strong individual products first, especially early on? Should people be
Mhm.
focusing on building good collections, or should people just try to focus on getting one product right and doing that very well?
I think it depends on the channel you're selling to. Because for instance, if you're just doing e-commerce and, making things for your own retail stores, you can do anything you want. I mean, you can do a singular product in 5 colors and just make that a giftable item that you sell or, whatever that product is. But I think if you're selling wholesale, they need to be told a story. They need a collection. They need a reason to buy all 10 things in that group, or at least pick 7 of them because of what tells a story. So we'll generally, in our handbag collections, we'll have at least 3 styles, sometimes 4, sometimes 5. Um, we don't generally do just one bag because it needs to sit and be merchandised and look beautiful. And, you need to have
Yeah,
options.
communicate the entire brand instead of course.
Right,
Okay, understood.
right. Tells a story.
Right, of course. So if you're going to have a more focused, wholesale focused approach, collections are probably a more important factor. If you're going to sell it directly to a consumer through an e-commerce channel or something similar, maybe starting out with one really good product might be the way.
It could be. It really depends on the product. For us, we like to tell a story even on e-commerce and in our catalogs that we do. So that every page you turn isn't something completely different than the page before. There's a theme and a mood to all of it. And we like it to flow really nicely.